Hello, Eric Walczykowski here, CEO of Bespoke Partners and host of Tailored Talent. Today, I'm joined by Katherine Baker, the co-lead of our CEO practice, and Jenny Gray, Senior Vice President in our CEO practice. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for joining. So I think, look, one of the things that we're trying to do with our customers and the market is talk about CEO trends. And I think one of the things that we've recognized actually since the inception of Bespoke is since we're chasing the top executives, the one percenters, the market tends to be tight in general. And I think the last couple of years, there's been a number of nuances that have made the market even tighter. One of the things that we've observed as companies have not exited the way on the normal cycle because of interest rates, private equity have slowed down new platforms, that natural churn of CEOs has not been happening. Now it is picking up a little bit in 2024. I think there's some indications that the back half of this year may yield even more natural turn. That said, we're still seeing a ton of tightness in the market. Jenny, what would you attribute that to?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a few things that you touched on. I think last year, there were much less transactions happening, and so a lot of executives were heads down and waiting to get to that outcome. So we really saw a super tight market there. I do think it's been picking up a little bit this year in terms of a little bit more M&A. People are open to taking on new things, but then I think another big factor is just that once a CEO has gone through a transaction, especially if it's successful, a lot of them are wanting to really take time with their families, go travel. I think just given, COVID, the economy, it's been a really challenging last probably 3 to 4 years for a lot of CEOs. And so for them to, go through an outcome, start, the next month on something else has just become less attractive. So we're definitely seeing a lot of people take, a little downtime. And then I think the other factor is even considering maybe I don't want to go do another CEO turn, maybe I want to go do a board role or an operating partner role or work with a PE firm that I really know and have a good relationship with and be a senior advisor. So we're seeing a few different trends from that standpoint as well.
Yeah, so I guess we could say CEOs are opting out of the process or taking a different role. Katherine, anything to add to that from your perspective?
Yeah. And I think there, the other thing that I would add to that is that the time frame, like it's not that I just want to take a month off. I want to take 6 to 12 months off and really recharge my battery. So then I can, if I do want to step into an operating role again, I'm ready to do that. And that is one thing that we're noticing. Even if executives or operators come back out and say, gosh, I am done working all together. Like I had a great transaction. I had generated some wealth, which is fantastic. After that, once they start to hit that 12-month mark, you can kind of see some executives start to pick their head back up and go, gosh, sitting on a board or two just is not going to keep me as busy as I was hoping. And so we are starting to see a little bit of, just openness to getting back into conversations. Executives are just going to be extremely selective because they don't have to go do something else. So, if depending on where the business is and where the sponsor bought, and for how much and what that, what the financials look like, they're just going to be extremely selective on what they go do. So those are some of the
absolutely. And it makes a ton of sense. And look, I mean, I can attest to the last 3 to 4 years. I mean, I ran a business through 2001. I ran one through 2007, 2008 and the crisis there. The last 3 to 4 years, particularly when you weigh on COVID, some of the geopolitical events going on, and then this weird time, whether we're in a recession, not in a recession, it just puts a lot of pressure on the operators and all of the decisions that are made, particularly when you're working against a timeline of, what actually in, 2 years ago reached a height where you were able to turn companies in 3 to 4 years. You're now looking at a 4 to 6 year hold period. And by the way, each decision feels like the weight of the world's on your shoulders as you start to look at investments and other things because the markets haven't been up and to the right. And so I can definitely empathize with when people are seeing these successful exits, contemplating, hey, what's next? And maybe it is that board or operating partner role.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of plays into why we're seeing more board and operating roles come up as well, because there's so much pressure on, each business to perform really well. I think we've seen the deal teams needing to have that experience of actual operators, successful CEOs that can put their time into each business and kind of help coach and guide and mentor either the founder or the first time CEO. So that kind of plays into the market dynamics as well.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because we issued a study or a report last year on board composition. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we reported on is in the private equity market, 27% of the board members are true operators, and the 73% are deal partners and the like. And I actually think that's a major opportunity for our PE clients as they think about board composition, is this notion of adding operators that have backgrounds that align with the value creation strategy. And so we've done some work for a number of our portfolio companies where we've systematically gone through and looked at the entire portfolio and added operators to the mix. Katherine, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've seen just in terms of board work as well. Like, as you think about, there's the type of operator who's been a CEO before, can really help coach and mentor, and perhaps just given how tight the market is, perhaps it is a first-time CEO. So they really need a strong either exec chair, operating partner, or just independent board member who can help coach and mentor. So you have I've been there, done that as a CEO. Here are the turns that you need to look out for in the future. But then you also have board members who have the industry experience and are really deep in that either sector, vertical, whatever it might be. And so, really rounding out the board from coaching mentorship to industry sector has been really important. We've seen an uptick in that lately.
No, 100%. And it's great that you brought up the first time CEO and board composition, because as we think about solving our clients' challenges with the best of the best, tight CEO market, expand the scorecard to a step-up candidate, potentially augment the board with this proven CEO that doesn't necessarily want to run another company. Jenny, you want to talk a little bit more about how you could use that strategy to solve the problems?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big thing that we've seen, especially over the past year and a half, is that first-time CEO coming in. I think over 50% of our placements now are first-time CEOs in the position. And in a lot of ways, I mean, I think it works out quite nicely because they're going to have that hunger, they've got the energy, they're going to put the hours in, they're going to put the time in, and then complementing them with the super strong, exec chair or people on the board is where we've seen a lot of success, where they can lean on the broader team, for guidance and experience and questions around M&A, how to scale a business, bringing in the rest of their C-suite. So I think, that's definitely been something that we've seen that's done well, over the past year and a half.
And what I love about this strategy of leaning into where the proven CEOs are at, perhaps tired from the last run, not knowing where to go, this notion of bringing this proven executive in as an executive chair, board member, part-time operating partner, really allows the private equity firms to work with these very successful CEOs to determine kind of what's next. Wouldn't you say that's a good strategy, Katherine?
I think it's a great strategy. And I think it also helps the deal team really understand, what are they dealing with at the end of the day? They are across a variety of different assets that they have, and they may not be able to spend the time really digging into the details. So I do think leveraging the operating partner or advisor, whoever it might be on your board, to help dig in and really understand, is this the pain point of the business, or is this an opportunity area, or what's going actually fantastic, what's going well, and then where can we start to supplement that or pay a little bit more attention to. So just having on all sides, having that sounding board has been really fruitful.
Well, I think a lot of this plays into the experience of Bespoke Partners, the experience of having a dedicated practice, so right. That you, Katherine, you, Jenny, you wake up every morning and you're thinking about solving these problems. And we're able to bring creative solutions to bear. And so I'm just glad to have you all on the team. Hopeful that this market does turn in terms of more exits, because I think that is going to create at least some of the supply concerns that we need. But either way, happy to have you both on the case solving these problems because you're very good at what you do. So thanks for joining me today on Tailored Talent.
Thanks, Eric. We appreciate it.